is a beautiful continent with diverse culture, history, and heritage. But at the same time, the continent is under-narrated. This is Pan African Show. Welcome to our show, and I am your host, Bethlehem Tashala. Today we are attending the African Media Awards in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the diplomatic hub for the African continent. And we also have different African journalists, media professionals. So this stay with us, with me, Bethlehem Tashala. This is Pan African Show. Welcome viewers, this is Pan African Show, where we dive in the rich culture of our continent Africa, and today is, I can say is my special day, yes, and attending the African Media Awards, I have met a very important individuals besides me. You remember that the Organization of African Unity was founded in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, in 1963. And the very relative individuals of this founding member are with me. So let me have introduced with them, please. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Dileka Mandela, the eldest grandchild of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. And really it feels great to be here today. Also to see that the dream that our forebears had didn't die. The dream of an Africa that is united still continues through us, their progeny, and this is our dream going forward. We want to see an Africa that is at peace with itself and that is united.
Okay, and you, Father?
Yes, my name is Kaweche Kaunda. I am one of the sons of the first president of Zambia, Kenneth David Kaunda. And he is, of course, as you said, one of the founding members of the Organization of African Union, as was known then. And all I'm saying, as my sister said there, it's important that we come here. It was not an accident that Ethiopia was chosen as the headquarters. They thought about it and agreed with the history that Ethiopia had, that this was the rightful place to host a place which would host the African Union, later to be known as African Union, is what is known as today. So for us, it's a very, very proud moment that we're able to come here and walk through the place where our parents and grandparents walked through to draw a path for the future of Africa.
That's great. And you?
So my name is Madaraka Nyerere. I'm one of the sons of Julius Nyerere. Of course, he was also one of the founders of the Organization of African Unity. And I'm honored to be back here. It's my third time in Addis Ababa. So I'm honored because we have this opportunity to honor that legacy of our founding fathers. And it's important, I think, that our generation also carries on that task of ensuring that future generations do not forget about what happened in the past, so that it can be carried on into the future.
Okay, yeah. That's great. And coming to, Addis Ababa, a place where your forefathers founded the organization, having a great vision for ourselves, for their children's. So what do you feel specifically Mandela trend here in Ethiopia, right? Yeah, I want to ask you about that.
No, well, I mean, for me, it's really a great honor, because my grandfather would really regale us with stories how the emperor, trained how to shoot a moving target, and to, like my brothers have said, to step foot where they had stepped before. It's quite important for us. Not only that, but the continuity of their legacies is much more important to us, as also to impart that knowledge to younger generations. It's quite sad when you talk to younger people and you ask about Kenneth Kaunda, they don't know who Kenneth Kaunda is, and you ask about Julius Nyerere, they don't know who Julius Nyerere is. And it is our responsibility as the progenies of the founding fathers of the Organization of African Unity to actually impart that wisdom, because if we don't teach our young people, the youngsters, where we come from, history will repeat itself. This is why we need to actually tell the stories in our own narrative, which is why these awards are actually important, because it's actually honoring the stories that we have as African people in our own narrative. Because if we allow another person to tell our stories, they will tell it according to how they see it, but not according to our narrative and our experience.
You raised a very important topic regarding, narrating our narrations, our history by ourselves. So I want to hear your opinion on this thought.
Well, it's not a light load that has been bestowed on Ethiopia. The reason that our fathers, grandfathers chose Ethiopia, like I said, was not an accident. And it's a load which they believed that Ethiopia going forward will be able to carry and pass on the message and the dream that they had of a Pan Africa, united as one nation. And being in this place, like I said, is to re-emphasize what their dream was. It did not die with them. President Mandela is gone, Kenneth Kaunda is gone, Mwalimu Nyerere is gone, but we're here. And our children after us will be here. And we must make sure that their dream doesn't die and go to the grave with them.
Well, I think it's really important that we speak for ourselves rather than ask someone else to speak for us, because it's only Africans who can guarantee that they deliver a narrative which is positive and which reflects their own aspirations and their own history. So that's really important to us.
So let me back to about Ethiopia. Since Ethiopia is a country that have never been colonized and a free country, we know that. What's your impression being in Ethiopia, specifically Addis Ababa, the capital city for the African continent?
For me, it's really the culture, because culture informs us who we are, where we come from, and the fact that even the pieces that are being displayed here, it's really Ethiopian culture. The food that we eat, it drives home the importance of culture, and also to the younger generation, that they need to be true to form to their culture, because culture informs us who we are as Africans. So it's really important for us. We've reiterated that point time and time again, that Ethiopia was not chosen by default. It was our founding fathers were very deliberate in thought when they did something, and which is why even today it's still the home of the African Union.
So is it your first time in Addis Ababa?
This is actually the second time. I came in April when there was a youth summit that was opened by the president, and we at the memorial, Adwa Memorial. So this is my second time.
So how do you feel about?
Well, for me, I just feel that Ethiopians, Addis Ababa do not actually, they downplay the tourism part. You should be able to actually revelage on people coming to Ethiopia, because most people, down south in South Africa, specifically people that are my followers on social media, they know very little about Addis Ababa and also Ethiopia. I was watching on the plane the holiday destinations that we have in the mountains. These beautiful places that nobody knows about. So it's about time that Ethiopians, and also in the provinces, you actually revelage of tourism. That part, we know that Addis stands for the home of the African Union, but the part of tourism you don't talk much about. Back in the 60s, Emperor Selassie had an amphibious car, which we only learn about it now, but back then in the 60s he had it. He had a caravan that was custom built for him back in the day to to drive with this car and go camp with it. So he was a man that was ahead of his times in terms of thinking and in terms of developing his people. The fact that, he had an amphibious car in the 60s, for me, my mouth was hanging on the floor that, wow. We only learn about amphibious cars now and we think that it's an invention of the 21st century. And it's not, as I've seen at Unity Park.
So you visited Unity Park?
Yes, I've visited Unity Park and I saw all the Rolls Royces that he was given by the Queen. All the different cars and also the gifts. It really blew my mind because when you travel a lot, sometimes you tend to think that this is only prevalent in the Western world, and yet we have beautiful places and we have people that were way ahead of their times here in Africa. It's not only Ethiopia. If you think of Egypt, the people that actually invented papyrus, which is paper, and these were people that were way ahead of their times in terms of development, including Emperor Selassie.
That would be great, and thank you for your time. And the last but not the least question will be, I want your message for African youth in order to, collaborate, strengthen relationship, cooperate.
We, as Kaundas, were long overdue to come to Ethiopia, because what my father used to do is, as children, he would send us to various parts of Africa to get to know that. And we never just stayed in the capital. Our friends would take, when we went, first time we went to Tanzania, we went to all different parts of Tanzania. Mm-hmm. The first time we went to Mozambique, we went to different parts of Mozambique. We were due to come here to Ethiopia, but then that's when the trouble started with the emperor, and we had to delay that trip until further notice. And it has taken a long time to come here. But like I said, to answer your question about what I think of Ethiopia, I have to go to various places of the country. Then you can ask me that question and I'll give you an honest answer, because I've only seen Addis Ababa. Mm-hmm. And what I've seen of the other parts of Ethiopia has been on pictures and on TV. So, but it's different when you actually go to a place and experience it. Adding on to what she said, in my language we say, Umwanda ashenda atashanjina pakunokunaya, which means a child who only knows his mother's cooking will never know how nice the cooking is in other people's homes. So those who to the youth, like you said, the message is they must travel. If the opportunity is there, we must travel. If not, our governments must put in place a system in which to help these youths to travel. Today I was telling your minister that it's so refreshing to see a young man like that as a minister. It means the future is in good hands. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think the youth should take responsibility for the future, rather than wait for the older generation to decide what they should do. They should now begin taking responsibility for themselves to ensure that they have a prosperous and peaceful future.
Same message. Because oftentimes the youth says we don't understand them. And it's time. Yes, we can give them the pearls of wisdom, but now we're in the fourth industrial revolution, which some of us sometimes grapple with. And it's about time that we have what I call intergenerational discourse and dialogues between the older generation and the youth, because we can actually teach each other something. We can give them the pearls of wisdom that come from the history. They can actually navigate us through this phase that we find ourselves in of AI, of the fourth industrial revolution. We need each other. We cannot actually exist in isolation as the older generation and the younger generation. We need to have the intergenerational discourse.
We need each other, as will be the best message for Africans for today. And you're still watching Pan African Show on AMN+. Viewers, stay with us.
Bye.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Pan African Show, and we are attending the African Media Awards. Attending this award is meeting a journalist is a must from different African countries, and I have a guest from South Africa, right?
Hi, my name is Nolu Vuyo from South Africa. I work for RT Africa.
Okay, that's great, and welcome to Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, the diplomatic city for our continent.
Thank you so much for welcoming to your country. It is my first time on the diplomatic capital of the African continent. I've always heard people talk about Ethiopia. I've always had neighbors back home in South Africa who come from Ethiopia. To be here and experience the history and the development of this very, very unique country, it is an honor.
That's great. What do you know about Ethiopia?
What I do know about Ethiopia is that it is the only country that was never colonized. So it is one of the free countries on the African continent. It is also the home to coffee, if I put it in the right way. I actually did try the coffee. It almost drove me crazy because it's too strong. I also know that its population is more than 130 million people, and it is a landlocked country. I know that its neighboring countries are Somalia, Eritrea, I'm forgetting something, Sudan or Kenya, yes.
Yeah, Sudan is also
from the east region.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I know about Ethiopia.
Yeah, so your information is concrete. So as a journalist, it is expected to have, such information. And let me ask you about these African Media Awards. What's your impression on such events, especially, in narrating our history, our identity by ourselves?
I think it helps to have events like these ones, especially in collaboration with media companies like Russia Today, because it speaks to freedom of media on the African continent. It speaks to freedom of speech. It gives you, as a journalist, that confidence that you can say what you feel like is important to portray Africa in a certain way and not believe what other, if I may say, Western media companies sometimes portray Africa as. It gives us African journalists that confidence, that ability, that capability of being able to just express ourselves in a manner that makes sense, in a manner that is correct, and not rely on Western media to spread the word about a continent that they're not even from. Yeah.
So you're mentioning that Ethiopia is the only African country that have never been colonized, and why do you feel being in this country, Ethiopia?
It feels very good. It feels different to many African countries, because some of these African countries, I'm from South Africa, and I know that half of what you see in South Africa is not necessarily the leftover of colonialism, but the remnants. Some of those buildings were started by colonialism, but when you see a country that was never colonized, having so much development, having such beautiful infrastructure, it tells you that African countries are able to develop their own cities, to develop their own countries, and turn them into beautiful states, because Ethiopia did this themselves. They did not need a white person from Europe to come start all of this. This is self-made by the blood, by the tears of Ethiopians. It makes me so proud to call myself African.
That's great. And, as a journalist, I think you have heard that Ethiopia is going to host the United Nations Climate Summit COP32. So it is in the African land. The summit will be in Africa land. So as a journalist, what's your impression and opinion on this?
I think it makes sense for the summit to be held here in Ethiopia, and I think, as we've said before, that it is the diplomatic capital of the African continent. It has the headquarters of the African Union. So why not start everything in Ethiopia to show people this beautiful, unique country, then go to other African countries? I'm not saying other African countries are not important, but this is a country that people don't know much about, and it has such a rich history. It is very important for the African continent. So I think it makes sense for such a summit, like the climate one, to be held in Ethiopia and then proceed to other countries.
In this stage, I have seen you, relaxing, and we also dancing with the music performance of the stage. So
Even now.
Yes.
So I'm a person who just loves music.
Yeah.
I come from South Africa, and South Africa specializes in music. So when I see a live performance, I just want to stand, I just want to dance, I just want to take part in it. And Ethiopian music is unique in the sense that when you listen to it, it incorporates Rastafarian, it incorporates Abu Dhabi music and all these other Middle Eastern music. And it's beautiful to watch and listen. Even the dances are quite special. It's nothing that you've seen before. So I love it. Even now, I want to leave you here and go.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah.
Mentioning about music, I want to, your opinion on South Africa's music and just try some music with you.
So South Africa specializes in a range, or rather in a variety of music genres. We have amapiano, we have house music, we have deep house, we have hip hop, but at the moment we have gom. I'm not sure if you're able to pronounce that, but we also have gom. It's okay, but
let me
it's
try.
Gom. Yes, you tried. That's 80% of it. So, but currently the leading genre is amapiano, which is also something that is big in Nigeria. So I think when it comes to other African countries and music, that's what we share with Nigeria as well. But South Africa has beautiful music. Every week there's a new sound. Every week there's a new release. Every week there's something to look forward to when it comes to music in South Africa. Yes.
So mention some music and we can try.
Wait. I want to give you something easy.
Yes.
Okay, try Umda Gwetu, Kolele Zingane Zam, Umda Gwetu, Kolele Zingane. You did it. You did it. That was nice.
This will be the last but not the least question, that if you have a message for Africans, African youth especially,
Yes.
in collaborating regarding this types of events in narrating our stories by ourselves. This will be.
As young journalists, the truth lies within us and with us, because we have seen how the generation before us, they were very truthful. They stood for the truth. And at somewhere in between your 90s and the early 2000s, we started prioritizing money over the actual message, over the actual truth, over the actual narrative. But I think that is coming back, and media conferences like these ones give us that space to be ourselves, to be honest, to tell the story as it is, and not worry that you are suppressing one media house or one government or one country. So I think this just gives us that confidence to just be ourselves as young journalists and continue to tell the truth.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I hope you also come
I'm coming back. I'm definitely coming back. Definitely.
Yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mama.
Okay,
Thank you.
Well, viewers, this is Pan Africanism. We're having a good time with Africans, especially African media professionals from different parts of the continent. I hope you have enjoying with our program. Just stay with us. This is Pan Africanism.
Friday Akintemi. I'm the Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief of News Central Television in Nigeria, and we're Pan-African news television station. To a large extent, some of us have been consistent about the fact that the people in the media are hardly ever celebrated in the media. If a politician or a sportsman or an entertainer wins awards, it's celebrated globally and everybody talk about them. But those of us who are journalists, we don't even bother to celebrate ourselves. So this is an opportunity for African media practitioners to begin to get celebrated and to be appreciated for the incredible work that we are doing. So that's why we are excited about this project. And News Central, based in Nigeria, is happy to be a part of this. And going forward, we are hoping that this will be a consistent event that will be as big as Oscar, as the Academy Awards, and any other international award for Africans who are working in the area of media. About Africa. When the presentation is made that Africa is poor, Africa is corrupt, Africa is all kind of things said about us, we have a duty and responsibility to tell that story ourselves. And that's why we have to collaborate. We have to strategize together. The media needs to do, including the influence of AI, whether it's got any influence, positive or negative. That will be discussed as well. So it's important that we do this consistently and we celebrate journalists. This is my second time. The first time I came for an economic conference at the African Union headquarters. So this is my second time of being in Addis. And I love Addis. I love Addis Ababa. I love Ethiopia. The people are beautiful and they're wonderful people. I wish we're going to have the office of News Central here in Addis Ababa very soon so that I can come here more often. I love this place. The fact that I was actually telling my director of commercial services that as Ethiopia is a country that's never been colonized by anybody. But as a Christian that reads the Bible, I understand some of the history of Ethiopia is being in the Bible. Even before the birth of Christ, Ethiopia has been in existence, and the people of this country have been working and doing stuff. I believe that when you talk about growth and development, when you talk about literacy and understanding and education, Ethiopia has contributed to the body of work that has grown the rest of the world, because some of the best philosophers in the past, they're from this country. Some of the best theologians, they're from this country. So Ethiopia has done well for the world. And if we're going to celebrate any part of the world, Ethiopia is it. We should all be coming here. We should make Ethiopia the African Mecca for all Africans to come to. Well, African solution for African problems, the starting point is what we experienced when I was coming here. I left Abuja in Nigeria without a visa. But I got here, I got visa on arrival. In actual fact, solving the African problem will mean that I don't even need visa to come. That will be a solution. So if you're going to Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt in Nigeria, you shouldn't have to be looking for a visa. You should just hop on a plane and you land there. You want to go to South Africa, you should be able to go without visa. Once we open our border across Africa, AFC, FTA, that will kick in and it will become easier for me to do business and open a headquarters for this side of Africa in Ethiopia. It will be possible for me to employ Ethiopians in my TV station. And it will be possible for an Ethiopian business leader to go to Nigeria or South Africa or any part of Africa and set up their business. That way, Africans are collaborating and uniting the word that comes to my mind often is the South African word that says the spirit of Ubuntu, which is the spirit of togetherness. Africans have got to come together and be one and work as one.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Pan African Show. And how was your stay? Yes, today we are, promoting our culture, history at large, meeting different media professionals, journalists, and attending this the African Media Awards. Yes, of course, I hope you're enjoying with us, but I am afraid we're gonna wrap up our today's program. In our today's program, we have met special guests, media professionals, and beyond that, yes, we have met with, the sons, granddaughters of the very important leaders of Africa. We will meet next. Until that, please keep promoting your culture, history, heritage, identity. I am Bethlehem Tashala. This is Pan African Show. See you next time.